Hi, guys. Welcome to The Choice, episode 3. Today, we have an amazing guest on with us. His name is George Rodriguez. And in his first half a year as a full-time real estate agent, he almost did 6 figures in gross commission income. And he's here today to explain his journey. And I'm sure we're going to learn a lot. So without further ado, welcome to The Choice. George, I'm happy to have you on.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, everybody?
Well, I always like to start with the same question, and everybody's going to know this by now, but here's the question. Why did you make the choice to become a realtor in the first place?
Personally, for me, the reason why I made the choice is when I first entered into it, I thought that having my real estate license only made me more dependable and expendable for my friends and family. Because originally what I got it is like when you have a conversation with an individual and they know you have your real estate license, but then you compound that with a friendship on top, they're going to give you that initial trust factor that someone off the street is going to have to earn walking in. So seeing that opportunity, I figured having my real estate license when I first started in 2020 gave me the opportunity to have some side income, because at that current time in 2020, I didn't see myself becoming a full-time real estate agent at the time.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So so you did it for credibility. You did it to build respect. Okay.
Of
What did you
course.
do before? What did you do before you became a realtor?
So I was actually in the military for 10 years, and then I actually did corrections when I got out of the military. So I was also then in corrections for 6 years, and then that's when in 2020 I had it on the side. So I was being a correction officer in the military as a reservist and doing real estate at the same time.
Okay. So when you got in, how did you get your first transaction?
My first transaction, it was actually a coworker at work. I was actually going
Okay.
through the coursing. So as soon as I had my real estate exam and everything completed, I actually had my first deal like weeks after, because just due to communication and letting my friend and individual at the time know that, hey, I'm going to be getting into the business and I would love the opportunity to represent you and also be my first transaction.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a good way to do it, because you were still working the 2 jobs at that point, and finding people at work is always a fast way of success. It's usually work, friends, or family. For real estate agents, that's from what I've seen, anyways. Um, and so throughout that process, from the beginning, or even from when you decided to go full time, did you have a mentor in your growth, or do you now?
So originally I did have a mentor. His name was Dennis Dawkins. He was in real estate for about 15 years at the time. He was actually my original realtor that got me my first property. So he's actually the one that originally represented me, and then eventually coached me as well.
Okay, that's good. I think everybody needs a mentor. And by the way, if you're on this video, just know that George himself can now mentor you. He can partner with you. And in the description below, I will actually be linking some of his social profiles and a link to have a conversation with him about that, but more on that later. When did you decide to go all in on the business? I know it sounds like it was 6 months ago, but when and why did you make that ultimate decision to make that choice to become full time?
So I made that choice because once I had my current individual passive income at the point to where everything was kind of solidified, I could protect myself, my family, my assets. I placed myself forward in the position that it's more important to be able to have that family time to give back to your family, but also have the limitless potential of being a real estate agent. So that was kind of the goal in terms of when I finally switched. So a lot of people that are willing to get into real estate, it's really scary to actually quit your job that has that consistent first and 15th of the month that you get your paycheck. Whereas, you're your own beneficiary of your success and work ethic.
Yeah, it's a totally different ball game. I know. I feel like most people do it kind of that slow played way. You didn't even
Mhm.
think you were going to be full time, and here you are, very full time.
Yeah, because I mean, I started back in, so full time was last year at this time, it's 2022 in July, and then fast forward now, 10 deals since then. I know for myself, being able to actually be my own boss and kind of manipulate it to benefit myself and my family, it's also what led me to actually meeting you. Because when I started doing the cold calls, I stumbled upon one of your listings and I was like, wow, this guy killed it on these photos, the marketing, and here we are, fast forward, you've changed my life as well in terms of how you decide to actually develop your brand, Park Place. And, it was very motivating and actually took me to the next step as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So in looking back at all of your deals and in the way that you've built your business so far, what would you say is your secret sauce? Like, how did you build your business? How have you gotten most of your transactions?
Most of my transactions, yes, it was through a form of sphere of influence, but also it's actually through social media. That's actually how I've actually garnered a lot of my success in terms of people interacting with me. Because when they know you're in the business, but it's different when knowing you're in it, but when you're actively in it and presenting yourself, whether it be in, posting or reels or even YouTube, like how we are now, eventually stumbling upon, that's actually been my highest limited success because it's limitless advertisement at a free portion.
Yeah, I think content is definitely the way to the future because for real estate agents, it's evergreen. You make a piece of content, you put it out there, and it will always be attracting. It will always be attracting new clients. It will always be educating future clients. I see it all the time where agents will sit down for, I've seen agents' calendars. Sometimes they'll post it online and they'll say, I have 5 buyer consultations today, and they're each an hour long. And to me, I think of it like this: if I do a buyer consultation, that should be at an open house in less than 5 minutes. And if it's going to be a long-winded, long explanation version of a consultation, why not just put it on a video? Redirect those clients to watch the entire video, then start the filtering process before you start touring houses. And then you just saved yourself 6 hours that day, for example, and then you could be prospecting for more clients in that time. So it's definitely the way of the future. Throughout the process, I know you were part-time for 1.5 years, went full-time, had great success so far. Throughout that process, did you have any doubts? And when and what were they, and how did you get past them to end up where you are today?
So originally, yes, when I went full-time, of course, it was kind of I made real estate. I was kind of giving excuses on why not I should be full-time within real estate. Because a lot of times when you do get a deal, when you're not full-time, you're like, when am I going to get my next one? How am I going to get my next one? But then eventually when you immerse yourself within the business, you no longer think about it in that way because now you're thinking of building your pipeline and extending that pipeline even further. So to me, that was the biggest catalyst for myself, was just having that self-belief, that self-affirmation that you only have once you create that limitless aura of like what you can be when you look in the mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that doubts are the biggest reason that so many agents after 2 years don't renew their licenses. Correct. Obviously it's also lack of deal flow, because they've had lack of training resources and ability to get connected with good mentors. Like I said before, if you want to partner with George, just look at the links in the description. But it's too prevalent that agents have access to no tools, no training, no resources. And when you mix that with even if you have good access to all of those things, it's very difficult because the doubts creep in. Each deal, the life cycle of meeting a client to closing a deal with that client is usually 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
And that's a long life cycle, because if you have nothing today, you know that you're unlikely to close anything for 2 to 3 months.
Exactly. And then when you finally close that deal, you're not going to get your check to industry average 30 days once the closing is finished. So there's a lot of time when you are going to immerse yourself within real estate. One, it's also being prepared and having that steady income flow to actually pay your bills, because you're going to have that work that's coming, but then you have the time frame until you get paid from your closing of your transaction.
Yeah, it's so true. It's just a lot. So another question that's super, super interesting. I'm very curious to hear your answer to this one. When and why did you make the choice to come to EXP? I know Park Place did a merger with EXP. We actually had our whole brokerage move over there. Actually, George was already a part of Park Place when this happened, but obviously all of the agents could choose to leave, choose to come. They could do whatever they wanted. But George decided to make the leap and come with us to EXP. Why did you make that choice?
Most importantly, the world is going to the digital aspect. And a lot of times, I know myself included, when you have that, brick and mortar brokerage, you find yourself having to go there, and you find the need where it's like now you're fighting traffic, now you have the travel time, where now when we went over to EXP, the ability to have that EXP world and click on, put a headset and get a question answered instantaneously from someone at your brokerage, that was limitless potential, but also the ability to bring in people and to your sphere from other agents and grooming them as well. It just, that cap of being able to have another way to access some income for yourself, for the future of your family, that to me, it transcends EXP in comparison to these other brokerages. Every brokerage doesn't make you. It's what they give to you in the back end and the ease of your life, and when you are working with them. That's what I've learned. I've been to 3 brokerages, and I'll be honest, I don't ever see myself leaving EXP.
Yeah, I don't either. I've been at a few, and I've started one, built one to 4 offices and well over 100 agents. And I can tell you that the brokerage doesn't really make the agent. The agent is going to be the one that makes their individual brand. They're going to be the one that makes the production. You can have a bad agent at a great brokerage, and it's not going to make them a good agent. You can make an amazing brokerage and an amazing agent. The brokerage isn't going to do that much more. The difference is the tools, the resources, the access to support, and the back-end compensation plan for doing the same things that you were going to do anywhere else anyways. And so for me, it was a no-brainer too. I'm glad I got to figure out what that was for you. So looking at the future of what you do in the growth of your business, what does that look like for you in an ideal world? What does your business look like?
To me, it's to grow the YouTube channel and social media to where it works for myself. I'll be totally honest, I do not like cold calling. I mean, I'm not the best. I love communicating with people, but of course, I never want to be a burden upon somebody. And I found myself I know that your deal flow can be immensely just growth, like rapidly growth when you do the cold calling aspect. But to me, I want to be happy and enjoy what I'm doing in social media, and actually building this channel to allow myself the opportunity to, one, have that limitless potential, but also to create a platform to where when I speak to somebody at a listing presentation, or if they want to know something about it, it's a beautiful thing when you're able to actually send them a link to a video you've done showing this is step-by-step process. And then it shows them that, okay, this person's really immersed into this platform of social media and real estate.
Yeah, no, that's really good. So you're a big focus on building social awareness, social media brand. And I think that's a really good way to expand on more agents being able to see you as well for your future growth of your team.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's super, super important. So where do you think the entire industry is heading? So at least in my mind, there's a lot that's happened in just the last 10 years. When I first got into the business, the average listing agent would take photos with like a handheld camera or a flip phone. It wasn't flip phones.
And some still do.
Yeah, some still do. But things have drastically changed in the last decade. What do you think with the real push of AI, the big push of social media, what do you think is going to change about being a real estate agent in their day-to-day lives in the future because of all of it?
Well, it's gonna make things easier and harder for some agents. Reason being is that with the aspect of having the AIs to help you, assist you, but also to have that online platform, it changes things dramatically, because now people want access and ease to actually feel and touch something. So for example, it's nice when you're able to have the 3D walkthroughs, but when you're able to actually have an online platform and push it out, now imagine if you get 5 to 10,000 views per video. You could send out one listing video and you can have 10,000 people view it, where when you go on Zillow, Redfin, etc., you're going to have 1,000 views in 30 days. Or 15 days. So the ability to push and have your message and your listing shown out to thousands of people at a click of a button is going to change people in terms of how they value an agent and what they can give to their client moving forward.
Yeah, I actually think that that's the biggest difference. Absolutely. I just had a listing go live a week ago, and we had some beautiful marketing done on it, beautiful Scandinavian build. And we had a video go live on Instagram Reels, and in less than 2 hours, this property was about $1.5 million. In less than 2 hours, we had somebody see the Instagram Reels, schedule an appointment, look at the property, and then an hour later give us a full asking offer. And that is something that is absolutely not possible using things like the MLS. And so my guess, of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but my guess is that clients are going to flock, especially seller clients are going to flock to the agents that have big enough platforms that they can actually outperform what the MLS will give them in discoverability and in reach.
Yeah, because for example, a lot of agents, what they'll do, they'll talk about they're doing all this marketing, and then when they go to list a property, all they're ever doing is just putting it on the MLS and just allowing these different search engines like Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, market the property for them. And that's the only thing. They wait for an offer to come to them. Whereas if you're able to actually push your message out, not only are you going to assist your client, but you'll have the possibility of even reaching the buyer and bringing it in to actually have an in-close deal in terms of actually making the deal better for your client and the person coming in.
Yeah, I think that's going to it's just going to be a continual shift towards
big time
towards it. And I think video is going to become more and more important, and I think people understanding how that works is going to be more and more important, which leads me to say, by the way, if you guys are looking to try and get in front of a camera and you're a little bit scared and you don't know what to do and you don't know how to do it, click the link in the description, set up a time to talk with George, because if you chose to partner with him, he already has done it. He's cracked that initial shell. He's started producing content on YouTube, has a consistent track record on all the other platforms as well. And if you're looking to find the right team and the right organizational structure to train you on what to do, how to do it, how to navigate the future landscape of what real estate will be in the next 10 years, click the link below, have a conversation, and we'd love to talk to you about it soon. And before we end today's show, George, do you have any last thoughts? Anything that you want the audience to know about you, know about the business, anything?
So when it comes to the individual, you being an agent, you bring yourself as a person. So all your life cues and everything that you've done, seen, and felt, you bring that towards yourself, and you're able to actually make yourself a better person, but also to help the other on the other side. For myself, being a military vet, being around all different cultures, countries, you're able to change the way you act with someone else to the betterment, because you can mesh with so many different people. It's a beautiful thing when you trust yourself and you're able to push yourself forward. So always think that you're unique into yourself and to never copy any other individual. And that's what'll make you, that'll make you unique in what you offer, because at the end of the day, when you're being yourself, you're going to have more fun in the business and you're going to have more success in the business. But at the end of the day, you have to put in the work and you have to proceed forward and never have any self-doubt.
That's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, well, thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of The Choice. Please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, please leave it in the comment section below. We will reach to every single comment, will be replied to. Thank you again for joining us, and we really appreciate your time and attention. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.